Hello and welcome to another episode of Oh So Curious. We are back today. I've got a doggy in the background barking. I apologize for that, but that is okay. We've got lots to talk about today. We're going to talk about Blink Twice, the directorial debut for Zoe Kravitz. We're going to dive into the disaster that is The Crow. Even the director of the original was like, why does this movie exist? So we're going to get into that. We're going to look ahead to a movie coming out next week with Casey Affleck and not Martin, I almost said the wrong name. Casey Affleck and Lawrence Fishburne are going to be starring in Slingshot. It's a Bleecker Street film. It's a psychological thriller that takes place in space. And of course, we have to talk about the box office. Deadpool and Wolverine, in its fifth week in release, is back at the top of the box office. We're going to get into that and how that happened. And of course, beyond that, we got Ted Lasso, another season coming your way. And, we got some DC news, of course. Mike Flanagan, one of the best directors in the game today, looking to get into the world of the DCU and what chances he has of doing that. We're going to talk about it and so much more. So to do that, let's get the show started. All right, welcome on to the show. I still have a barking corgi in the background, so I don't know if you guys can hear that.
Your favorite kind of barking dog?
Yeah.
Is I can't hear it. Her, him, the dog.
Her? Yeah.
Her. Yeah. I can't hear it.
She's right here. Every time I go, she's like, no, you don't get to pet me until you feed me. That's her. I know.
Fair. I feel the same.
You're gonna have to wait. I'm not eating, am I?
Sounds about right. She's like, I only care about you if you have the food. Sounds like most dogs.
Yeah.
Well, how are you guys doing today? John, how is it going?
I'm doing okay. I have already ripped The Crow a new one, and I'm ready to do it again because this movie doesn't deserve anything good happening to it. So I'm happy.
Yeah. You were very excited to talk about it yesterday. I did have a question. Did that Sonic trailer come out?
It did. We can quickly talk about that because
we will get into that when we get into the news.
I saw it and it's great stuff. It did. Finally, my friend who's a big Sonic fan is very happy. He's been teased all year, and he's like, I swear to God, if they're fucking lying again about the Sonic trailer, I'm gonna be pissed. And then he's like, no, it actually came out, and he's very happy. He's like, it looks really good. It does look really good.
I imagine the tone of voice is exactly how he said that. So yeah, Angelina, how are you doing today?
I'm good. It's been busy. It's been dry here. I've been using a lot of saline in my nostrils lately. But that's about it. We're rocking and rolling. I'm kind of ready for summer to be over, guys. I'm excited for fall.
Same.
Oh, it's if you anywhere you go to a retail store, you go out to a shopping mall. It's all fall. Lotion, so. Everything is fall. Yeah. So
you gotta love commercials.
Yeah.
Well, as we always do, we start the show off with the news. So let's dive into that first, and then we'll get the show on to movie reviews, DCU Daily, so much more. But let's start with the news. It doesn't seem to matter what I do.
All right, Mr. I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding. You're kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne. I like that. You're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What the
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
Lots more to talk about with the news. So let's start this off as we were talking about before that intro. Let's talk about the new Sonic trailer, John. You were very excited about this. And yesterday on DCU Daily, we were, basically talking about how people have been looking for this trailer for months at this point, and we finally got the news that it was coming out this morning. It did. So let me start by asking you, John, what were your expectations? And now having seen the trailer, what is that, did that deliver for you? Are you more excited for the movie now, or are you kind of worried about the film having seen the trailer?
No, it looks really good. Like it might, people are saying like it might be the best of the three, and honestly, I might believe it because like as much as I really enjoy the first two movies, they're not like amazing movies by any means. Like I give them like a firm like 7.5 out of 10. But this might be even better. We get Shadow, who's voiced by Keanu Reeves, which is excellent, perfect casting there. And then we're finally getting Fat Robotnik. We're finally getting the egg in Eggman, which is also really great. And it might be Jim Carrey's like final performance because he has been talking about retirement for a while, but he wanted to come back for this. So yeah, it looks great. Like I'm excited. And then there was also like a tease that like James Marsden's character might be killed, which is great because James Marsden sucks. So, like that's very exciting. Cool. So, and like everyone still looks great.
Seen any of them. Like
Ben Schwartz killing it. Idris Elba killing it. We got Knuckles earlier this year. It was, and I'm not gonna act like Knuckles was the greatest thing ever, but I will say it was still a lot of fun. Like I know a lot of people were upset with that, but I really enjoyed it. So like Jeff Fowler's coming back to direct. We also have Colleen O'Shaughnessy, who's Tails, who also voiced Tails in the game. She's coming back. But yeah, we have like tons. We have I'm gonna mispronounce his name. I apologize. Lee Majdoub. I don't know how to pronounce that. As Agent Stone, he's great. He was always really great comic relief in those movies. And then you also have Adam Pally coming back, and Kristen Ritter is one of the new people, as well as Tom Butler as some new characters. But yeah, this looks really, really exciting. Like I'm super stoked for it. Like Shadow looks absolutely fucking great. Like it's definitely because it's adapting one of the best like revered games of like the Sonic, video game series of Sonic Adventure 2. So a lot of big Sonic fans are really happy about that. But yeah, it's great that we finally got the trailer because like it's just like been so weird. It's like, all right, is this movie delayed? Is it still coming out? Like, why have we not gotten anything at this point? But we haven't. Like this, I know me and a bunch of Sonic fans are, excited, and it looks so great. Like, just Jim Carrey just hamming it up, and it just like in the best ways possible. He was like, he definitely stole both movies he was in. Like Jim Carrey is just like, and I'm not that big of a Jim Carrey fan. Like I like him okay, but I feel like he's usually better in like more dramatic stuff. But here he's just a ton of fun, and I love this guy. I hope he does like more movies because he's really funny. But yeah, I'm super stoked. Like, and the VFX look great. So maybe they wanted to perfect those before like the trailer came out. I don't know, but like whatever it was, it more than delivered, and I'm happy with it. And I can't wait for this movie. And I can't wait. You know what else I can't wait for? I cannot wait for this movie to absolutely fucking destroy that stupid looking Mufasa movie, because it will, because it looks terrible. And this looks fucking amazing. So it's going to fucking absolutely destroy that garbage fest. So that I'm probably the happiest about. But this looks and then you also have Jim Carrey in lots of prosthetics as his own grandfather. It's very I am my own grandpa. And so yeah, so that looks great too. And they're doing the classic thing of like the heroes have to team up with the villain to fight an even bigger villain. It's a cliche, but it's a good cliche. So
yeah, it works.
This looks it works. So it looks like a lot of fun, and I can't be more happy about this. Yes, in theaters December 24th. Even though we all thought it was going to be delayed, no, it is coming out in December. Thank God. Ugh.
Yeah.
Super awesome.
It looks like a great trailer. It's just the visuals are fun. Jim Carrey can carry pretty much anything on his back, even today. So I just remember him saying like, "Oh yeah, I'm ready to retire," and people were like, "Really?" Like they're gonna come back at you with another Sonic movie again. You're gonna say yes in a heartbeat because like Jim Carrey loves money. So and as
Who
you should.
doesn't?
There's nothing wrong with that. Who doesn't? So I mean, Angelina, you said that you haven't really seen the first two movies in this franchise. I'm sure you have seen the trailers and you've seen like some clips and all the controversy around the design of Sonic going back to the first film, and then that come out with a new trailer, and they completely changed how they rendered the character, and the hair and everything looked different. Now we're 3 movies in.
Yeah, I've never seen any of them. None of them. So
like,
I'm like,
do you have an opinion on this? Do you care for the movie? Are you going to be watching it when it comes out?
probably not. I've never seen any of the rest of them. Jim Carrey looks fun, but I don't. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. I'll leave this one for John.
Yeah.
I'll go watch the other movies.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm cool.
Cool. Well, guys, let us know in the comments what you think about Sonic the Hedgehog 3. We're on to the 3rd film. It's been a while, and we're now coming up on the 3rd movie in the franchise. They did a TV show. Are they doing more spin-offs, John? Is there another spin-off coming to Paramount Plus?
I don't believe so. I don't think anything else was announced. I think it was just the Knuckles show, which was definitely more towards kids. It was definitely had a more like kiddie vibe. And it easily could have been a movie. Like there were like 6 episodes and they were all like half an hour. Maybe some trimming that could have been like a 2-hour movie. So I don't know why they so like I don't know why they did that. It was weird because it was a lot of filler, a lot of weird stuff. But yeah, it was like an overall fun movie. I don't know if there's more spinoff. I unless somebody knows something I don't know, then I don't think there's anything else in the woodwork. I wouldn't be. I mean, if this makes another fucking shit ton of money, then obviously they're gonna have more spinoffs. So I'd be down for it. I'm loving this. Like Sonic, the fact that this is becoming like a fucking proper franchise is just showing that sure we might still get shit like Uncharted and Borderlands, but like we're still getting like people who give a shit about like video games and that like type of art form and all that. So I feel like there's enough people that care that want to make good video games. We're having Last of Us season 2, which could be either really good or really bad, depending. I don't have a lot of faith in it because I know about the controversies of Last of Us Part 2, which is but even then I think with Sonic and Super Mario Brothers and Last of Us and Fallout is another one. I keep forgetting about Fallout, but Fallout was another one that was pretty that was liked by the fans. So I think sure we get some blips, but for the most part I think we're getting some good video game adaptations. Hopefully Mortal Kombat 2 is better than the first one. Hopefully. So yeah.
The first one just sort of skipped the second act. It just went from the first act to the third act, and it was like, wait, what happened? Like, it was such a jarring transition. But I mean, hey, look, these Sonic movies, they make plenty of money. They're very well received for the most part. Jim Carrey, I can watch Jim Carrey all day, quite frankly. I don't know. His shtick hasn't quite gotten old for me, but we'll see, what this movie gets up to. I'm sure there'll be another trailer, at least maybe 2 more trailers between now and when the movie comes out. And when that happens, we will, talk about it and react to it like we just did. So let's move on to the next news item today. We have some more news. Now, we've been following this merger story for Paramount for a while, and, it's kind of bounced around different iterations. The different bids have come and gone, but Skydance, which have a working relationship with Paramount and have had so for years, you might see their logo come before all of those Mission Impossible movies, the Top Gun movies with Tom Cruise. Basically, Paramount's entire movie slate gets financed by Skydance, and they basically have been in negotiations with Paramount for months now, trying to figure out how best to make things happen where the 2 companies can become one. And as a result of that, Skydance will put I believe upwards of like $4.5 billion in total into Paramount, including $1.5 billion just to take away some debt. And that deal was pretty much, signed and delivered, except all the legal hurdles they had to get through. But then a week ago, came in this other offer, which was basically matching for the most part what Paramount was going to receive from Skydance, and then they said, hold up, we're going to need to consider this thing, and we're going to need 2 weeks to do that, which was part of the deal Skydance had. They called this the go shop period, where a Paramount could go and look for other bids, which could be as good or better than the one that Skydance had provided. But this week, we've got the news that that other offer is now off the table. They took it out, so it's gone. And now what that means that Paramount is basically, committed to Skydance, and that merger will happen in the first half of 2025. That go shop period has now concluded, and that's something we heard from the Paramount board special committee, which that's set up to essentially oversee this whole transaction. So,
biggest question about this is, what was the point of the other offer? Like, I feel like that's more PR related than any real offer. You know what I mean? And I'm interested to see what he's going to be doing in the next few years. I think he made the bid that he did for not like the views, but for the sort of for the press of it. So I'm curious to see what he does in the next couple years afterwards, utilizing this sort of press and this buzz, because there was no way that they were going to take his offer over Skydance's. So I was
it wasn't as good.
Yeah, it wasn't as good. It wasn't as much money. It just didn't make sense to me why he even offered it. I honestly had never even heard of Edgar Bronfman Jr. prior to this. Maybe that's why he made the bid. It just felt like
it was part of a coalition. It wasn't just him by himself, but he's a media executive who's, I'm sure, got a lot of money in his bank, but it was a number of other entities kind of joining together. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it just seemed really out of left field.
You know what I mean? Like, just so wild. So I'm interested to see what he does, what his coalition does over the next few years, because I definitely think that there's more than what meets the eye here, and I'm intrigued to see what that is. So.
Which is fair. I do think that there's something more to come from this, but not necessarily with Paramount. I think it goes to show that those group of investors were interested in doling out almost $5 billion. And while Paramount might not be the prize they're after anymore, they might put that money towards something else down the road. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. Let's see what happens. Paramount is the only studio that's currently been up for sale, but I'm sure if Lionsgate keeps doing what they're doing, they might be in a lot of trouble down the road, because they've got quite a lot of bad press recently. From the Megalopolis trailer they had to pull back because of that fake AI quotes, to, we're going to get into The Crow later. So right now we're going to keep on going with the news. Here's some more positive news, guys. Ted Lasso this is a show that, let me just take a moment and talk about Ted Lasso. Right? Ted Lasso is a show that came out during the pandemic, right? I remember Ted Lasso from back in when they were doing these sketches for NBC Sports Premier League coverage, when NBC got the rights from ESPN to the Premier League. And then years later, they turn it into a TV show, and this TV show becomes probably the most heartwarming, best surprise of the pandemic era of TV. And I just remember watching, like, that season one was so perfect. You almost want to just wrap it up in a gift box and just let it sit on the shelf. Like, I don't want you to go any further with that. And it took me literally 2 years to get to season 2, and I'm still on season 2. But they have gone through 3 seasons now, and season 3 was initially advertised as like, this is it, this is the end all be all. And it was almost done in a way that, the season finale could have started a series finale. But we now have news, and people kind of hinted at it. Even back then, the cast members, Apple started to advertise it as a season finale as opposed to a series finale when season 3 was concluding. But now we know that we're getting closer and closer to getting a season 4 greenlit, with options, to pick up a lot of the core cast members coming back, including, of course, Jason Sudeikis himself, Ted Lasso. So what do you think about this news? Angelina, I'll start with you. Were you a fan of the show? Is this a show that you're looking forward to seeing more seasons of? It's one of the biggest hits on Apple TV Plus. It's really helped them put that service on the map in its early years. And it's a show that obviously has won Emmys. It's got a great presence of the award season. So, are you looking forward to a fourth season, or is this something that you're not really a big fan?
Yeah, so I've never seen Ted Lasso. However, obviously everyone knows the hype. It's a great show. 90% score, Rotten Tomatoes, 8.8 out of several seasons on IMDb. People love this. Obviously, Jason Sudeikis is a genius. He's hilarious. His random cameos still on SNL as the dancer, that dude. It's my favorite. Yeah, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 excited for him, especially considering the last few years and all of the press and the divorce and stuff like this. Like maybe he was like, fuck it, I want to work more. It's like,
I mean,
right.
Well, I will say, I know my entire family watched Ted Lasso. They fucking love Ted Lasso. So I don't know how like happy or sad they'd be in regards to this because because like they said season 3 was good, but not like as good as those previous seasons. So I don't know if it's like, oh, people are excited, people are upset. So we'll see. If it actually warrants more storytelling possibilities, then I'd say go for it. But if it's gonna end, then it's just like, all right, just leave well enough alone, I guess. So obviously we'll say, like, the thing is I don't watch the show, so I don't know, I can't fully judge it. I was gonna watch it when the hype died down, kind of what I did with Breaking Bad. But if the train is still gonna go, I guess I'm gonna just push a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen it. I don't know. There's been a lot of shows on Apple TV lately that I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I should check that out. So I might have to get an Apple TV subscription. I don't currently have one. So that's probably the biggest reason I haven't seen some of these shows. I'm like, whatever. But yeah, if you guys are excited about Ted Lasso and you are active watchers, let us know. Should we watch it? John and I haven't seen it before, so convince us in the comments, please. If you give me a good enough reason to watch it, I'll do it. Okay?
I know it's like a very wholesome show. Like you don't have to like think about a lot. It's like fluff, but in a good way. Like it's just very nice. It's nice and wholesome.
Yeah. Sometimes you need those because sometimes TV is exhausting. I've been trying to be very wholesome and read more books lately because I was just watching way too much TV. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Manolo Rivera, welcome back. They reported that Universal has licensed some Paramount IP Star Trek to appear at Universal Studios. That's awesome because I would love a Star Trek ride. That'd be cool. I'd be into that. Like a Star Trek themed roller coaster. I'm into it. Yeah, 100%.
I hate roller coasters, so I can't.
Oh, I love roller coasters.
I
haven't been on one in years, but
I went on one roller coaster and I'm like, okay, never again. Yep, never doing that again.
Lenny, they filmed Ted Lasso in my borough in London. Okay, wait, Ted Lasso is based out of London?
Yes, it is. Because it's like Jason Sudeikis is like this character. He's like a football coach, but then he goes, he's some type of coach. He might be like an American football coach, but then he's like so good that they ship him out to London to work on a football, aka soccer team, and then that's how he, that's where the show is. It's got Hannah Waddingham. It's got the guy who's playing Hercules in the MCU, who I forget his name. I think Juno Temple is also in it.
The girl. Right.
Yeah, but yeah, I know people. It's very
It's got like, a lot of
it's so good. Got a lot of prowess to it,
Right.
I think that was the thing that really and the morning show really put Apple TV like, this is like actually one of the better streaming services. So.
And then the Idris Elba show apparently was really great. Apple TV Plus has really been kicking off lately. So, hey, Dan, do we have a login for that? I'm like, do I have to get it on my own? Yeah. So Dan said maybe. We have a back chat for any of you guys who ever wonder like what we're talking about. There's like a back chat in the thing, and it sometimes it is very hilarious. So yeah, if you guys watch Ted Lasso, let us know. Again, convince us. Let's do it. Moving on to the next news item. The Teamsters are keeping wage protections top of mind as casting agreement talks with MPTP begin. Essentially, the summation of this newest news article, the Teamsters are back at the negotiating table. They are now trying to negotiate baseline wages for casting directors and associate casting directors. If you guys aren't aware, casting is literally the first quarter of all of the pre-production work, if not half. Casting can take weeks, it can take months, it can take years. Casting is the whole... A cast can make or break your movies before it even starts. So that is what the Teamsters are back at the table negotiating right now. Previously, which I actually didn't know this until I saw this Deadline article, but previously every single casting director and their associate directors had to negotiate individual contracts for every project, every movie. I am sure casting directors have like probably baseline fees and stuff like that, but essentially Teamsters is trying to set a bare minimum, which to me makes sense. Just like for non-union jobs, like you have to negotiate here, here, and here, and here, but there is a baseline wage that they cannot drop below. It makes sense for contracted work that there would be a baseline rate. I wasn't aware that there wasn't one before. So that's the summation of this article, and it sounds like they're getting to work. They're very excited about it. They're very hopeful. And, you know, I think everyone's goal right now is to keep LA out of any other pandemic and or strike situation. Our economy cannot handle it. The entertainment industry cannot handle it. And we're all excited to just be working. So I am hopeful that this won't turn into anything crazier than it is. They're just sitting down and talking through some extra little details. And that's a wrap on that article. So yeah, moving on to the last part of our news segment, which is, oh no, guys, that wraps the news today, actually. Thank you so
goodness.
much.
Crazy.
I know. So yeah, that's the news here on Oh So Curious. Next up, we're going to be talking about the movie of the week. We had two. I didn't see either, but
it's good that you didn't see one of them. I will say that. So
that's true. So moving on to the movie of the week, we are talking through Blink Twice and The Crow. Wow, what a time to be alive. Dan, can you switch the graphics over for us? Is that a thing?
You know, it's not what I thought it was gonna be.
What do you mean?
Where's Jess?
Who's Jess?
The legendary parties of Slater King with drugs and debauchery.
What are we gonna do about you? We still do drugs.
Movie of the week. We've got Blink Twice. This was Zoe Kravitz's directorial debut. By all accounts, people are saying she killed it. A lot of people were just like, honestly, it was rich in color. It was lots of action, lots of stuff going on. So far, the movie is doing pretty well. John and I both did not get the chance to watch it, but John, one of your friends did, though, right?
Yes, he said it was pretty great. He gave it a 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd. So he said it was pretty much like he was surprised with how good it was, because I hate something, but like when it's in a directorial debut, it's a complete like it can be really hit or miss. So and and especially when it's an actor turned director. Like, sure, you can get like a Ron Howard or someone like that who's like a relatively good director, and then not recently, but or
Ron Howard, like prolific in a lot of aspects. Hello, John cut out. Can anybody hear me though? Are we good to go? I don't know what's going on here. Oh, all right. Well, I'm here. John, I just can't hear John. All right, guys. So yeah, apparently, John, I see you. I just can't hear you, my darling. I'm so sorry.
I don't know what to.
You're here. We're good. Everything's great.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, great. Okay. I was like, okay, I got to duck out and come back in, but no. So anyway, what I was saying, depending it who knows in terms of actor turned director, it can be totally great, totally shit, who knows, but it looks like this was, I mean, we were just talking about Adria Arjona yesterday and on Friday about, our Wonder Woman fan casting, so nice that she pops up here again. And then we have Channing Tatum, who just recently made a name for himself in Deadpool Wolverine. So he, we got him. Him and Zoe Kravitz are doing the old Devil's Tango. So obviously he's going to show up here. So,
getting married.
But yeah, it just this looks like a good, it's been done before, people fish out of water, they're going to a new place they don't recognize. I thought this was like going to be another I thought this was going to be another Don't Worry Darling or something like that, but my buddy was like, and I trust him, and he's like, no, it's actually really good. He's like, the movie's great outside of one line where he was like, because he was like in the theater watching, he's like, it was like a really dumb line where it was like, oh yeah, therapy is stupid and like self-indulgent or something. And I'm like, all right, like, come on, are we still thinking about this? I know Ari Aster is a moron, but like, come on, can we not think about I hope it was like in jest or something. Again, I don't know the context for it.
Yeah.
Hopefully it was a joke or in jest, because I don't like that toxic way of thinking. But outside of that, it was a great movie. He gave it a 4 out of 5. He said it was a really fun time. And so yeah, I do want to see it. Maybe I'll catch it in theaters. It's good to support your local theaters, guys. The cinema is kind of, dying a little bit. So we hope to, keep the cinema alive as much as we can, because, it's a special place for, film industry, movie industry, that kind of thing. So, so I might go see it. Like, I like the cast. I like all these people. So yeah, I'm convinced. Let's just say I'm
gonna go see it too. Honestly, people are loving it. They're just like, it's a great film. It has a lot to say about society, but a lot of people are just like, oh my God, I love it. We've got 79 or 75% on the tomato meter, 68% critic reviews. People said that there were some like timing issues from the critic reviews that I read. It just sounded like it was like really front heavy, and then it turns into a little bit of a bloodbath. So there's a little spin for you. But yeah, if you guys went to go see Blink Twice, let us know. Obviously, in the box office, it didn't do nearly as well as Wolverine and Deadpool, but
yeah,
it did better than the fucking Crow. Everybody, it did better than the Crow.
It did better than the Crow and Borderlands. Hell, the re-release of Coraline did better than both, and that's saying something.
Yeah.
Oof.
Actually, that's a movie I've also just never seen, which is
I saw it recently. I saw it last year finally, and it's a great fucking movie.
That movie came out, I was so young. Like I've just never seen it.
It was a little bit when I was like, I think we're around the same age. So like, it was like I was like too young to see something that scary, but even though it was like kind of else, I'm like, I don't know. So I eventually finally saw it. It's not my, I think it was the first. I know it's Henry Selick, who directed Nightmare Before Christmas. And great director. So I would say go rewatch Coraline if you have seen it already. Do that because that's probably better than the movie we're about to, talk about. But yeah, go
well,
see.
So far in the box office, we've got a $7.3 million opening up to this point domestically, and internationally 6.7, coming to a total of a $14 million opening. That again did way better than the movie we're about to talk about. So let us know if you went to see Blink Twice. What do you think about it? Should we go see it? I think I'm going to. John, you're going to go see it too, right?
I'll try to. I make no promises, but I'll try to.
Well, remember to like and hit that little subscribe button. It really
and
helps
the bell.
us out here. Yeah, the bell. Ding, ding. I wish I could like ding it and it just automatically chimes. That'd be like really cool. Sorry, I'm like thinking about interactive media in the future. Yeah, let us know. It always helps us. We love it when you comment. We try to respond to them as we see them. And we are talking about the next movie of the week. John went to go see it. Apparently, it's absolute dog shit, in John's own words. That is The Crow.
Our first guest is a talented Swedish actor who stars in the latest adaptation of the graphic novel The Crow.
The question of the banner says, did this movie need to exist? No, it didn't. Now, I've already gone at length about how much I literally, on one of my own personal channels, not my main personal channel, on one of my other ones, but I literally went on a 17-minute long rant about how much I hated this movie. Obviously, I don't have that kind of time here, but this movie is it's just a bad movie. Like, it's just a horribly made, horribly acted, horribly written, horribly paced, terrible movie. Like, because I know a lot of people who like this movie, and for some reason there are people that like this movie, have been like, oh, you're just comparing it to the original, and no, it's just a bad, like, yes, it is insulting as a remake to one of the best movies that the 90s gave us, and a movie that also featured Brandon Lee, who unfortunately died during production because of a very dumb prop malfunction. But like, this is, like, even ignoring all of that, how it's disrespectful to James O'Barr's creation, it's disrespectful to Brandon Lee's legacy, it's disrespectful to Alex Proyas, who directed the movie. It's just like, ignoring all that, it's just a badly made movie. The Bill Skarsgård absolutely sleeps through this performance. Like, I love Bill Skarsgård. He is a terrific actor, but I think he knew once he signed on. Thank you, Lenny. You're proving my point here. But even then, like, just Bill Skarsgård, like, straight up, there were like multiple points throughout this movie where his Swedish accent slips out. It's like, bro, you're better than this. And clearly he just didn't care. Like, he knew this was a paycheck, and he's like, you know what? I don't give a shit. I'm just going to do whatever the hell I want.
Wait, how do you feel that, like, it just doesn't pay, like, homage to the previous Crow?
No, it's just like, like, for instance, like, for a big thing. First of all, the character is, it's never confirmed in the movie, but they did say it, like, in articles, that he is Eric Draven. Now, Eric Draven and Shelley Webster, they do confirm. I remember reading an article where they do confirm that. Now, if you don't know, and I don't think you do, not trying to be mean or anything, but the original comic by James O'Barr, Eric and Shelley had no last name. They were just Eric and Shelley. In the movie, they were given last names, Eric Draven and Shelley Webster. Now, the fact that they pretty much confirm that these are remakes of those characters, it's very disingenuous to Brandon Lee and what happened to him, like, a little bit, because they're remaking what didn't need to be remade, and they're they're just doing things to these characters that didn't need to happen. And then on top of that, something that really irked me was that the characters are drug addicts, which is pretty insulting, because if you don't know the history of James O'Barr and his relationship with his character of the Crow, is that the reason he made the character was because his, I think it was his girlfriend, it might have been his fiance, I think it was just his girlfriend though, she was killed in a car accident by a drunk driver. So the fact that the reason that this guy made this character and went through this entire journey of like grief and loss because of substance abuse, you're featuring characters of that adapt your creation as substance abuse addicts.
Well, it also is just like a weird choice to me.
And it serves no narrative purpose.
Even on a narrative baseline, you need these people to be as relatable and as lovable as possible.
Yeah.
And I understand that, these people having an addiction does not necessarily make them less lovable. It certainly makes them less relatable.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing, is like when you're trying in a storyline, these people are so moved by grief that they are then resurrected. Like, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't really make sense. I also don't understand why they thought that it would make sense to the audience. Like, oh my God, I feel for him so much. Like,
I feel like that they were like trying to make like Gen Z the Crow, and it just didn't work. Like, he's covered in tattoos.
Gen Z is sober.
Yeah, like I think again, I'm seeing it as like an executive.
Gen Z on TikTok is like, who needs alcohol when you have mocktails? Like,
Gen Z
on TikTok is like
very
water, and I'm like,
boomer way of thinking, like it's a 50-year-old executive. Oh yeah, these Gen Z kids, they like their Post Malones and Machine Gun Kellys with the tattoos. It's like, yeah, they don't actually act like that though. So, Bill Skarsgård, FKA Twigs. Oh, God, it just hurts to say that. Who is a singer? She's in this, and she can act. Unlike
she can.
She cannot. She can't invoke an emotion to save her life. And also, like, she refuses to close her mouth throughout the entirety of the movie. I don't know if she's like a mouth breather or something, but like she refuses to close her mouth. And they have absolutely no chemistry with one another. They have none, which, to be fair, does make sense considering the director, Rupert Sanders, did cheat on his wife. So it's not like he would understand a relationship to begin with. So there is that. But yeah, they no chemistry. They sleep with their performance.
Imagine why they would cast her if they didn't have chemistry. Like, she's not a known.
Yeah, it's not like
she's like off the cuff. Like, the reason I knew who FKA Twigs was because she used to date Robert Pattinson. Like, and they just had this weird ass, like, super hippie celebrity relationship. I've never listened to her music. It's never come up. It's not really mainstream. She's kind of like, maybe they were just trying to go so alternative with this movie that they actually missed the point in so much of it. Like, I don't know. I don't get it.
Think it's just, and the thing is, it's very poorly paced. It feels like it's like about hour 40 minutes around there, maybe a little bit, maybe hour 50. It feels like it's like 15 hours long. Like, it's painfully slow. And it's like, and it's so funny that, because in the original movie, the movie essentially, it's been a while since I watched it. I'm probably going to go rewatch it later today just to remind me how fucking actually good The Crow can be. Yeah. But the movie, like, essentially wakes up a year after, like, all this happens, and Brandon Lee's character of Eric Draven wakes up and, like, resurrected by the Crow. He goes to his apartment. He remembers everything that happened. He and his girlfriend got killed. Him and his fiance got killed. And then he puts on the makeup, and boom, he starts mowing down bad guys. It's like boom, immediately. And then there's also flashbacks.
Chelsea does not understand emo grunge. The filmmakers got the wrong decade.
Yeah,
I agree.
essentially.
Something is like very off with how they try to
most
market
definitely.
this movie,
And it just,
it's
you
weird.
know, it's
like
just
they
funny.
missed the boat on a lot of different stuff.
100%. And it just like, yeah, it's just like a
Yeah.
slog to get through. It's like, and it's so funny, like the original, boom, it's quick, simple, easy. It's just like this guy gets resurrected, has to right a wrong, boom, there we go. And he goes off to fight the people that killed them. And so, and it's easy. This movie, they spend so much time on their relationship, but the problem is normally I'd be like, okay, you want to spend time on the relationship. That's very different from the original movie. And in the comic went on the Eric and Shelley comic original character, because there's been like 15 other crows.
Oh,
So
JB, thank you so much. Sorry.
no problem, my man. And then so a comic, it went on for 10 years. So like obviously there's time
They had time
to do stuff. And I assume they wanted to try and do that. And it just like didn't work. Like they give so much time to this relationship, but the biggest problem is it's like the Disney princess relationship. They like fall in love after like knowing each other for 2 hours. And then they're like, oh yeah, they're soulmates.
Right? From one of the, it looks like they're in rehab.
Yeah, they're in rehab, but they don't actually get clean. They, after the fact, they fucking like smoke.
Well, that's the story of most, unfortunately, like most addicts.
Yeah, and it, like the thing is, I would have bought like to like respect O'Barr's creation, like, oh, have them get clean, have that like, okay, they're drug addicts, then have them get
well, because
like,
then they've overcome a personal struggle together, and that
that would actually be interesting and well written and creative, and they clearly didn't want to fucking go for that. So, you know, and then it's like they know each other for like a week, then they get killed, and he's like, oh, she's my soulmate. It's like, bro, you've known her, like, this is like puppy love shit. Like, this is like a weekend fling at most, a puppy love at the very least. Like, this isn't soulmate shit. And then, like, this is supposed to be like your badass action hero type of shit. This dude acts like a total wimp throughout the whole movie. And then they're also trying to do like John Wick stuff. They have like a lot of like, there's a lot of like narrative, like stuff with the opera. And it's like, okay, what do you want to do? Do you want to rip off John Wick, or do you want to make a Crow adaptation? What are you trying to do here? And then the CGI is terrible. Like the actual crows that are shown in the movie, and then the digital blood squibs look terrible. The actual crow, his like familiar, which is like accompanies him like from the afterlife, like that serves no narrative purpose whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And then this dude like is like pretty much like, so their entire relationship, it's like 40 minutes of them being like, oh my god, look how in love we are, and you don't buy it whatsoever. And then they eventually get killed, and then like the next half an hour is like him investigating shit, and it's like, I don't care, I'm so bored out of my mind. And then the last like 20 minutes is him finally getting revenge, and it's like, it's a boring action sequence, and it's just terrible. And then the ending makes no fucking sense whatsoever. It's like they time travel like 3 days, and it's like, wait, did all of this happen? Did none of this happen? You have to have like a PhD to understand this ending. And it's just, nothing about this movie works. It like, the only things I can possibly give, the cinematography is like kind of okay. Danny Houston like tries, he's the main villain, but like they overcomplicate the story. It's like, oh, she saw something she shouldn't have, and it's like now this like fucking like weird devil rich guy cult is after them. It's just, they make it so overly complicated when the original was so simple and so easy to like digest. It's just like, this guy's resurrected, let's bring it back, and boom, boom, there you go. It just, I know I'm kind of like filibustering a little bit, but it's just like, I wish I could go full on shit fest movie, because I hated it so much. It's the worst movie.
Critics totally agree with you. So this is one of the lowest critic scores that we've seen, other than Borderlands, in the past, at least the past couple of years that I've been on the show.
Also
one of the absolute lowest. So 20% critic reviews, people are just like, this just doesn't need to exist. The audience score is a little bit more forgiving, but for the most part, I mean, this movie fucking bombed at the box office.
It bombed and bombed.
So
on
at
a $50
in the box
million
office, we're talking
budget.
like
Oh, sorry.
No, I think it only hit like 4.3 million.
4.6 million in its opening weekend versus a $50 million budget. I was saying this before we started. To put that into perspective, not adjusted for inflation, not adjusted, the original Crow and the Crow City of Angels made more money in their opening weekends than this movie did. Like individual, I'm not talking about together. I'm talking about individually. The Crow individually made more money, and the Crow City of Angels individually made more money than this did in their opening weekends. And those were like the original, I think, was like $10 million in terms of budget. It was like almost an indie movie. It was Miramax. It was essentially an indie movie. And it blew everyone away. It was so amazing. It was this great neo-gothic like film. It was like, and the thing that's so great about the original movie, it's just like it was so simple, and it like it was kind of like weirdly wholesome in a way. Like the core of it, it's like because the whole basis of a crow, they're not really called crows, but that's what the character kind of is. The whole thing is like somebody gets killed, somebody and like a lover or someone they know.
All the drug hallucination.
I
JB,
hope
that
so.
might have been there.
I needed drugs to like fucking not remember this crap fest. But yeah, it just doesn't understand the character at all, and it just doesn't understand what makes. And it's just like it's so simple. Like the guy, girlfriend gets murdered, he gets murdered. Boom, he can't rest. He comes back a year later, and boom, there you go. And it's so simple. And I feel like the fact that they overcomplicated it with like the villains and the story, they were overcompensating for the fact that this movie sucked, because it's like usually when you overcomplicate things,
I feel like they probably overcomplicated it to compensate for the fact that they were making a movie that nobody has wanted to touch, obviously because Brandon Lee died on.
I mean, it's in development hell.
It was
been in
such
development
a
hell
tragedy
for 20
of the
years.
time. I remember hearing about it growing up, about how Brandon Lee died. Like I remember hearing about it. It's one of those things that still in the entertainment industry is viewed as like one of the saddest mishap and saddest accidents.
Yeah,
it's created
only
new
rivaled
rules
by
on set,
Rust.
new laws. That's why when the situation with Rust happened, it was like, what the fuck? Because it hadn't happened since Brandon Lee's death. So it was just like a lot of stuff, and it sounded like they were really trying to overcompensate for that. Manolo said, sounds like they cobbled together a story that just happens to check all the required boxes to keep the IP. I mean, maybe that was the go, but to waste.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie
I think that might be it.
Lucky if it hits $6 million in the box office. This movie will be a $45 million loss.
That doesn't count all the marketing, so maybe another 10 million. So it's probably 50 million, around 50 to 60 million. Probably going to lose.
That's an insane loss for a movie.
And Megalopolis ain't going to make money neither. So Lionsgate, if they don't go bankrupt by the end of the year, I would be very surprised. But yeah, this movie. Yeah, I will say this to all the people watching to know, like in the internet zeitgeist. To put this in perspective, I saw both this and Madam Web in the theater. This makes Madam Web look like the best movie of the year. That is how bad this movie.
Madam Web off twice. I watched the first 10 minutes of it on streaming, and I was like, I'm gonna go to bed. And then I tried another 10 minutes, and I was like,
because at least with Madam Web, it's fun to laugh at. Like it's terribly made. It's a horrible movie, but like it's funny. It's so funnily bad with how like inept in the filmmaking it is.
Insane.
So yeah, that doesn't. But The Crow is just so boring. It doesn't understand the character. It doesn't understand what made the original movie so special. The actors sleep through their performance. It's paced like shit. It's written horribly. And so, you know, it just, I wish I could go on and on about how much I hate this movie, because I fucking hate it so much. But yeah, it's a terrible movie, and don't go see it. Don't go see Blink twice.
Save your money.
Go see Blink twice. Go see Coraline.
Or go see Deadpool and Wolverine.
Go see Deadpool and Wolverine again. Fucking see Borderlands instead. Okay, don't see Borderlands. I'm just kidding. See Deadpool and Wolverine again. See Blink twice. See anything else other than this crap fest of a movie.
I hope
it's
that Bill Skarsgård is able to recover from this.
Oh, he has Nosferatu coming out later this year. He's good. He's got a Robert Eggers project. He is more than fucking good. So
it's wild to me because he's such a talent. The whole family is really talented. So I was really excited for this, but maybe he needs to put some pep in his step for his next project.
Oh yeah, he's going to be Count Orlok. I'm super stoked for that. That's coming out Christmas, and hopefully that's great. I mean, it's Robert Eggers, so that'll probably be great. But let us know what you thought of The Crow. Did you hate it as much as I did? Did you for some reason liked it?
Go see it? Maybe just get drunk and go watch it.
I considered getting a drink before I started the movie,
maybe
but I needed to drive home, so I'm like, let's not tempt fate here. So,
well, let us know. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Always drop your comments below. Next up, we're talking about DCU Daily. John, you take it away. I don't even know who Mike Flanagan is. I'm so sorry.
Yes, Mike Flanagan. Speaking of Robert Eggers, Robert Eggers is probably one of my favorite directors working away. Mike Flanagan might be my favorite because Mike Flanagan, the man does not miss. I am like, dude, how the fuck have you made so many movies and TV shows and just not made a bad one? But it was said actually a couple of years ago that Mike Flanagan was going to make a Clayface movie based around the original Basil Karlo version, and it was kind of be like Joker a little bit. But then for some reason, Warner Brothers, because as we all know, Warner Brothers are the kings of horrible decisions. They're like, no, let's not have this amazing director who has made nothing but hits work for us. Well, somebody asked him recently again. He said that is a universe I would love to be a part of. I mean, he did show interest, obviously, because he wanted to make that Clayface movie. And I'm just like, bro, fucking get Mike Flanagan. Honestly, fucking dump James Mangold. He fucking sucks. Get Mike Flanagan to do the Swamp Thing movie. That would be a way don't get me wrong. I know James Mangold did Logan once upon a time, but then he fucking did Dial of Destiny. So and he throws bitch fits on Twitter. He threw John Williams under the bus. Fuck that guy. Get Mike Flanagan to do the Swamp Thing movie. Come on, James Gunn.
I sense a full-scale John rant. Everyone, get ready. Get ready.
But yeah, this was like a year or two ago. But I think he was asked about I think it was Toronto, some type of Toronto Comic-Con fan expo, something. And somebody asked him because they, because he was linked to this Clayface movie, and he said, I've always been a huge fan of James Gunn as a person and filmmaker, and that is a universe I would absolutely love to be a part of. And I think him doing that, an Elseworld story would probably be the best fit for him because he can just go ham, do whatever he wants, whether it's a Clayface movie or something else, or branch out of horror a little bit. I would say give him something less horror related, because even though that is his bread and butter, and we did talk about this image a while back. A lot of people were focused on the Kumail Nanjiani and Peter Safran thing. I was focused on Mike Flanagan and his wife Kate Siegel being there, because I'm like, that's the thing I'm more excited about, because I want to see Mike Flanagan be part of the DCU more so than Kumail. Don't worry about it. I like Nanjiani. He's a very good actor. I'm one of the few championing his addition to the DCU, because I actually think he's funny. But I want to see Mike Flanagan. I mean, give me Mike Flanagan. Get Kate Siegel to play Abby Arcane. Fuck it, let's do it. And then
Manolo thinks he'd be a good
Swamp Thing would be great.
Swamp Thing.
Yeah. Any horror. I would love to see him do an Andrew Bennett movie. That would be really cool. I Vampire is the character, and that would be well, apparently James Mangold during I don't know if it was post-production or they were starting to advertise the movie, but John Williams said I believe it was John Williams said something that oh yeah, the movie got reshot a couple times, or oh they had to reshoot the ending, which has been proven since then.
Mm-hmm.
And James Mangold was essentially like, oh, that 90-year-old dementia patient, he doesn't fucking know what he's talking about. And like, that the movie wasn't reshot, and he essentially threw John Williams under the bus. And so even though I like Logan, I like his other movies, James Mangold shows that he is an inept, unprofessional, whiny crybaby just because he made a really shitty movie that nobody liked. So, so very, very unprofessional from him. And I lost a lot of respect for him that day, even though he's made great movies. When you're not a professional, that can,
it affects everything. Actually, nobody wants.
Yes,
to
as someone who's like actually knows what they're talking about,
Yeah.
you probably have more to say than I do in that respect. But yeah, it's just,
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like you gotta just be respectful, my dude. Like, that's just, I don't understand why people say the shit they do out loud. Sometimes I'm like,
yeah,
what?
I mean, Rupert Sanders, when he was asked about the Crow remake, somebody asked him his thoughts on like the negative reception. He's like, oh yeah, those basement dwelling losers need to fucking get out of their basements and fucking go get a real life instead of shitting on my movie. It's like, yeah, that's blaming the fan, biting the hand that feeds you. That has gone so well in the past. Yeah. So shut the bro, your name's Rupert. Like, what balls do you have? Like, Rupert. All right.
Rupert.
Come on, get that the fuck out of here.
How could you possibly?
Bro, you made Ghost in the Shell. Like, get that the fuck out of here. You already ruined one IP. You're ruined another. Just directing is clearly not for you, my guy. So just fucking go to the corner.
But he did direct Logan, right?
James Mangold did, yes.
Yeah.
James Mangold. He directed Kate and Leopold, Walk the Line, Ford versus Ferrari.
Walk the Line was also good. So he had some hits, but it just sounds like he's
yeah. I mean, James Mangold went after the fans. Rupert Sanders. Like, how about stop going after the people that pay to see your movie?
Yeah.
Not very
that
smart.
Never really understood for me. I never really got that part. I'm just like, maybe just don't.
Maybe just stop talking. Stop talking.
Yeah, so that's good times.
But anyway, moving on to great filmmakers who actually respect people. Mike Flanagan. Yeah. I would love. I mean, it's a sort of quick thing. It's not a huge, news story, but I mean, I love the man. He's terrific. I've loved everything. Not everything he's made is gold. Like Haunting of Bly Manor was kind of iffy. Midnight Society was okay. Was good, not great. And then, but yeah, like most from what he's done, I've loved. Maybe I'm biased. I don't know, but I would love.
I don't know much about Clayface. Is this like an old IP that just hasn't been picked up?
No, Clayface has been a character since the 40s. I believe 1940 was his. He was originally like a Phantom of the Opera-esque character.
Oh, okay.
Where he was he was a silent film actor. His movies were getting remade into talkies, and so he goes after the crew on his newest movie and starts, killing them. So that's essentially what the character was, the Basil Karlo version. And then the next version was the more famous iteration where, he gets dunked into like a pit in like the fucking Amazon or something, and he gets clay shape-shifting powers, Matt Hagen. And then eventually Basil Karlo got and then there's been like 17 other Clayfaces. But yeah, it's like a shape-shifting.
I've never seen.
Yeah, he's never been in the movies. It's kind of a hard thing to do in the movies because it's like a lot of CGI, a lot of effects heavy. So it's hard to do.
Now the effects have come so far, so it makes sense that now it's like the time to sort of get in on it. Who would you say would be like a fan cast for that?
Oh, I mean, it's hard because he's mostly clay. So you gotta get someone who's like I would love to get someone who's like a really good voice actor, someone who could probably do it like live action, because I mean that's the James Gunn way. That's what he's doing. Like he said, like the people in animated projects, they're gonna translate to live action eventually. So kind of have that mindset of like a Clayface. I don't know, like get like a really good voice. Like I like
that.
Phil
I also
Lamar.
like that casting.
Phil Lamar would be great.
That creates like a sense of continuity across animated to live action. It also provides like a long-lasting character that you can invest in versus like,
Right.
oh, I'm only going to see him in this 1 or 2 movies and then he's never going to be in the animated ever again. You guys remember when they moved to a new Scooby-Doo, like voice casting? I couldn't even watch it. I was like, that doesn't sound like
it was an adjustment. Like it was a big adjustment.
Not my Scooby-Doo. Although I did hear
not my Scooby-Doo.
A really funny TikTok, and this guy was doing like a funny TikTok of like POV, you're on a first date with Gollum, and you don't actually see Gollum, you just hear this person like impersonating like Gollum being on a date. And I was like, this dude could not only voice Gollum, but he could absolutely voice Scooby-Doo. I'll have to share the link with you guys so that we can like watch it next week. It was pretty funny. I was like, what, 10 out of 10. It was good. Well, yeah, that's the DCU news. We got anything else here? Or Clayface would be a guy in a beanbag suit.
Yeah, but yeah, like, oh, fantastic. Phil Lamar, if you didn't hear, like, that would be a good, like, because he's been like, he's a legendary voice actor, but he's also like been like acted as himself in like live action projects. So fuck it, get him. He would be great. But you got to get someone who's like a commanding presence, and I think, I would love Alan Tudyk because he plays him in, the Kite Man universe. So he would be awesome, but he's already Dr. Phosphorus. So, but yeah, that's it. Mike Flanagan, please, James Gunn, please, or Peter Safran, since you're buddy now with Peter Safran, please get this man a contract. Get this man everything he could possibly need, because him doing DC would be excellent. So please do that. Although I am
everybody with all the DC vibe.
Although I am excited for his Dark Tower, Life of Chuck, which is his next movie, and then Dark Tower, which he's working on for Amazon Prime after the God Awful movie. That should be pretty excellent. So I'm stoked for those. So please, he could do the Gunslinger and the Man in Black Justice. Unlike that fucking.
I think if they bring in Mike Flanagan, they should probably give him something to do on the Lantern show, maybe as a director of an episode or two, and then transition him onto some kind of character story, like whether it's a movie or something like that. I think that'd be fantastic. Yeah. Sorry. That's just my 2 cents. I sort of have to step away for a bit, but let us know in the comments what you guys think. Of course, Mike Flanagan, looking forward to joining the DCU, and he's got a lot that he could potentially bring on to the world of DC and that James Gunn is creating. So let us know in the comments what you think about that. Like and subscribe as always, and hit the notification bell if you have already subscribed, so you know when we go live the new show. JB, of course, thank you for saying that hey, you'd love to catch us live, and we love to catch you watching us live. So with that said, let's move on to the last topic of the day. As we do each and every show, we look ahead to the next movie that we want to review on the following week's show. So today we're going to be looking ahead to Slingshot. Now, next week's movie schedule is a little, let's just say nameless, in the sense that there's not a lot going on. There's not a big movie. There's a reason why Deadpool Wolverine shot up to the top of the box office this week in its 5th week of release, and when The Crow couldn't even get into double digits in terms of the money it earned. And Blink Twice, of course, is not a movie that was ever really going to make a ton of money. But now, I think next week, when you look at it, Slingshot being the highest profile release, is the one from Bleecker Street. It's a bit of a sci-fi thriller. I don't know if you guys are very familiar with this, or if you have even seen the trailer for it, John or Angelina. Let me know.
Yeah, I watched the trailer right before the show today, and it's giving like psychological space thriller.
Yeah, but not in a good way.
Space, yeah. From the
Ugh.
trailer, it just looks like Casey Affleck is like losing his fucking marbles alongside Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
And to be fair,
and Frenchie from The Boys.
Oh yeah,
he's in it too.
That's wild. Yeah, it just kind of seems. Wait, that was Frenchie from The Boys?
I'm pretty sure that was him. The third guy, I think that was him. Well, that's the two of them. That's Lawrence Fishburne.
I mean, I love Casey Affleck. Obviously,
let me see.
Really incredible, but this movie just seems kind of dumb. And after
it looks like other movies have done this way better. Like Sunshine, Danny Boyle movie, great. Solaris, both versions, the original Russian version or the George Clooney version. Moon is another good one. Moon from Duncan Jones is also that's an excellent movie.
It just seems like a lot of Lawrence Fishburne's character gaslighting the shit out of the other two characters. And like, to be fair,
Yes,
if
I was
Fishburne
right.
was gaslighting the shit out of me, I'd probably go crazy too. But that seems like the summation of this movie. So I'm not thoroughly excited to see it. I'm so sick of seeing stories, like psychological stories, thrown into space, acting like that, like serves as like a bumper for.
I mean, there has been like, I still want to see Spaceman. I didn't hear great things about it, but I was still curious and I still want to see it. But yeah, I think, well, I mean, there is like the known thing of like, if for guys that spend time in space too long, they can go crazy. I mean, that's
which would make sense, right? It would make sense.
So yeah, it's just. I mean, by the way, I looked it up and I was right. Tomer Capone is Frenchie, and he's in this. So if you're a Boys fan, maybe, I don't know.
I think he's an incredible actor. He always has been. I mean, what was that movie he won? He won an Oscar for Blue. Was it Blue Velvet?
No, Manchester by the Sea. Isn't that
there we go?
Yes.
Incredible.
And he beat. I'm still pissed. He beat Denzel Washington for Fences, and I'm still angry because he don't get me started. Don't get me started on that. Anyway, let's move on before I go full angry.
Whoa! I think we might have
hit a nerve. Anyway,
we hit a nerve, everybody. Well,
good director. I mean, the guy who directed he did 1408, which is fantastic. He directed some episodes of Bloodline. He did do Escape Plan, which was, that was like a nice cult hit kind of thing. And so I don't know. He's directed some good movies. He's like, I think Swedish.
I actually totally do not want that. JB is thinking DC Batman was Casey Affleck.
That would be funny. I mean, I would say he's discount Henry Cavill. He just kind of looks like him, but it would be funny.
A soft boy.
Like, I don't think Casey. I don't want Casey Affleck as Batman. Please, for the love of. Maybe he could play a villain. I think he could play a villain, but like, I don't know. No.
Yeah, he just doesn't have enough like oomph to him as an actor.
Do you guys okay? By the way, Manolo, Outline is a good movie, and then JB again, oldie but goldie, Outline with Sean Connery. Sean Connery and everything, he's like, what for you in space today? Like, I just want the accent. I just want the accent, man. It's like, yeah, I still believe he was technically James Bond in The Rock, so that's where I am. But to me, this movie, if you guys remember, there was this Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe movie that came out, black and white. Was it Robert Eggers? Lighthouse.
Eggers. Yeah,
Robert Eggers. I'm like, the best potential this movie has is to be that in space. Maybe it doesn't have anything to do with that.
Don't
visually.
even compare. Don't compare. Don't even put them in the same sentence as Robert Eggers. Don't even go there. Don't even go there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's wrap this up because nobody gives a fuck about this movie, and we're going to be forced to watch it.
This is what we have to go see next week. Be excited for us.
Well, maybe you. I don't know. I think I'm going to skip this one.
Dude, you know what was more interesting?
Hey, I had to watch The Crow, all right? I made the biggest noble sacrifice I could have made, all right?
You did, and we appreciate that, John. But hey, look, if you guys are not interested in checking out Slingshot, we do have these other movies that have been getting re-released. The Batman is getting a re-release, and that's
Talk to Me, Everything Ever All at Once, Shaun of the Dead. Watch any of those.
All the Harry Potter movies, seemingly. Shaun of the Dead is celebrating his 20th anniversary. We'll get into that.
Warner Brothers is hankering for money right now because they're re-releasing all the Harry Potter movies.
Wow, yeah, that's kind of wild, right? They're like, we really need money. Come see this movie in theater.
Ooh, I gotta ask my buddy about that. Damn.
Boondock Saints 25th anniversary.
And Babadook also. Blazing Saddles. Oh, my friend is a big fan of Boondock Saints and Blazing Saddles.
That movie was bad when it came out, though, so I'm surprised that they're re-releasing it.
Which one? Babadook or Blazing Saddles or Boondock Saints? Which one? Which one?
All right, guys. It's been a pleasure, as always, bullshitting our way through the movies, the news, and all of the rest
Walking ass backwards into victory, as my friend would say. So
Yep.
You know?
Yep, pretty much. All right. Well, you know what? I think with that, we're gonna call it a show. We'll see you guys next time. Another episode of Us Are Curious. We are back tomorrow with more DCU Daily. There's been these rumors like, hey, maybe Henry Cavill can play Green Lantern. Maybe that's how he gets back into the DC universe. We'll talk about that. Last week we talked about Wonder Woman. This week we'll get into that topic. I'm sure there'll be lots to talk about there. So Manolo, JB, Lenny, Fiona was here earlier. We've got so many of you in the chat, and we really appreciate that. Yeah, Manolo, the cash flow struggle is real, but hey, if Superman hits, then that's all they really need. They can be on the upward trajectory. So we're really going to be talking all about that the rest of the week on DCU Daily. If you haven't already, hit the like button. We appreciate that. And hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. And if you are subscribed, then don't miss us when we go live. Hit the notification bell. That will let you know when we do go live. Up until tomorrow, when we're back with another episode of DCU Daily, go out there, watch something DC related. Go watch a movie if you haven't already seen Blink Twice, or if you are interested in taking some time out of your day to watch The Crow, and go see that. Or if you want to watch Deadpool Wolverine for the 5,000th time, and go watch that.
Watch Deadpool Wolverine for the 5,000th time. It's okay.
Or Boondock Saints. But Angelina and John, thanks as always. We'll see you on the next episode of Oh So Curious.